Hi everyone, I'm Aaron from the Birmingham Black Country Wildlife Trust, and today I'm at the Library of Birmingham rooftop gardens to look at the amazing wildlife that we can find up here. We couldn't really be more central in the city and in a more urban environment, but we have an amazing diversity of plants and insects up here that we can study and look at and learn from. Part of the reason why these gardens are so important is because of the fact that they feed many different types of insects that we have in urban areas like Birmingham. Insects are fascinating animals. They are some of the most abundant and diverse creatures on Earth. In fact, 1 in every 5 organisms on the planet is a beetle. And in the UK, we have more species of fly than there are species of mammal in the whole world. Pollinators are insects which collect pollen from flowers and transfer them to different flowers, and it's actually how plants reproduce. Pollinators are really important for the health of our planet. This mainly takes the form of animals like bees and hoverflies, but also things like soldier flies, moths and butterflies. 1 in every 3 vegetables and pieces of fruit that you eat is pollinated by bees and other insects. In Birmingham, we have over 130 species of bee, and these take many different forms, such as leafcutter bees, masonry bees, furrow bees, and all sorts of other cuckoo species that will catch and follow them. The most famous bee that we have in the UK and possibly the world is the honeybee. And although this only makes up 1% of all the bee species in the UK, it is the one that most people associate with bees and pollination. They are fantastic species and they go around and they pollinate thousands of crops every year and wildflowers. They're what we would call generalist pollinators. They're not particularly picky about which flowers that they'll pollinate as long as they can get their pollen and nectar. In the bee world, all the workers are female, and they do all the hard work by providing all the baby bees with food. Bumblebees are very familiar animals to us. We often see them bumbling around our garden in early spring and late summer, carrying out lots of pollination services. Bumblebees are quite large bees. They're very, very furry and they can be quite colourful. They're often associated with bands across the back of their body. There are around 25 species of bumblebee in the UK, and they are what we would call social species. And one of the species that we found is the red-tailed bumblebee, Bombus lapidarius. And this is one of my favourite bumblebee species. The workers are really cute, they have these jet black bodies and bright red bums. Interestingly, these species are usually going underground about this sort of time of year. They're hibernating. But because of climate change and the warmer climate and the vast amounts of wildflowers that we have in the city at the moment, these species are able to continue throughout autumn and the winter months. Another species of bumblebee that we found on the rooftop gardens at the Library of Birmingham is the common carder bee, or Bombus pascorum. And this is a beautiful bee. It is one of the only brown species of bumblebee that we have in this country, and the only brown species of bumblebee that you will find in Birmingham, the Black Country. This individual is a female worker, busily out trying to collect as much pollen as she possibly can. And I can tell that by the fact that she has pollen baskets on her hind legs. And these are small little pouches that allow the bee to stuff pollen inside when she's moving from plant to plant. And that's what makes bees such efficient pollinators. When they're flying, it's as if they've got carrier bags of pollen stuck to their legs, which means that they can carry huge quantities of this pollen between different species of plants. Most bumblebee queens emerge in early spring. They start making their colonies throughout spring and summer, and by autumn, the colony has died off and the new queens often go underground to hibernate, ready for the next year. One of the problems that could occur because of a warming climate is that there aren't enough wildflowers to sustain bee populations over the winter period, and that's why it's really important to fill your gardens with wildflowers that flower at different times of the year. We're very lucky in Birmingham, the Black Country, because we have a deep mining past that is associated with our landscape. These habitats are perfect for solitary bees, particularly mining bees. Here at the Birmingham Black Country Wildlife Trust, we are trying to promote the importance of conserving solitary bees. We think that it's very important that more people learn about them, study them, and try to help them by planting wildflowers in their gardens. They are fantastic creatures, very colourful and charismatic, and many people across the country find a lot of joy in studying them. Bees have been on this planet for millions and millions of years, a lot longer than humans, particularly you and me. And that is why it's so important that we protect them, because this is their home just as much as it is ours. One really easy way of making habitats for bees in your home is by taking twigs of bamboo and putting them in a small can or jar and hanging these from a wall that gets a lot of sunshine. Or use your grown-up to drill some 1 centimetre holes into a piece of wood and hang that on a sunny south-facing wall. Pollinators are incredibly colourful, cute and furry creatures. They're very enjoyable to study and learn from, and I'd encourage everyone to go out and have a look in their garden and see what they can find. Unfortunately, many species of pollinator in the UK are declining dramatically, and this is because of lack of habitat, lack of floral resources and because of pesticides. So anything that you can do in your garden to help sustain and help insect populations is really beneficial for the health of the planet. It's really important that the younger generation, particularly individuals like yourself, champion insect conservation and try to protect as many species of wildlife as you possibly can. If you want to learn more about how you can protect and save bees, then if you visit the Wildlife Trust for Birmingham and Black Country website, there are many resources about how you can identify and help plant wildflowers for bees in your garden.